How you doing, Coach? Good morning to you.
Good morning.
Okay, Coach Doug Williams from Grambling State is now on the call. Grambling defeated Alcorn 21-14 over the weekend and getting set to go to Monroe, Louisiana to play Louisiana-Monroe this weekend. Coach, your thoughts?
Well, it was a big win for us. I mean, the weather condition was what it was, and we still had to play the game. And I think from a character standpoint, the team showed a lot of character to come back. When you're playing a quarterback like Al Callen, Brandon Bridges over there, he hit you in the mouth first, he go up 7, and we got a freshman quarterback. It kind of puts you in the mode that we got to find a way to put some points on the board. And, I was really proud of the way the team fought back and defensively played well and held them to the offense, had an opportunity to put some points on the board.
Hey, Doug, good morning. Ty Miller from Sheridan Broadcasting.
Hey, Ty.
Coach, I know everybody's been asking you about DJ and how well he played. Melvin gave him a grade A. Can you assess DJ's play in the first game?
Well, I've been sitting here watching the film. I don't know if I give him a grade A, but I certainly don't give him a passing grade. I think if you compare it to the guy he was going against on the other side, you got to, be pleased with what you saw. And what I saw from DJ was probably the thing that made me feel good about it was pause more than anything, and the fact that, he took a couple shots and he got off the ground and respond. I think from a freshman to go out there for the first game and complete 16 out of 24 passes and end up with 2 TDs and no interception, you certainly have to say that's a plus.
Coach, I also noticed that DJ made a lot of good decisions, not a lot of mistakes with the ball. So can you talk about his decision making?
Well, he's certainly proud of his decision making, in a game like that, and Coach Roach, who was with us for a long time, and he didn't do anything to surprise us as far as what he was going to do, and he did exactly what we thought. He threw a lot of different looks at DJ, and we probably would have did the same thing to a freshman, but he threw some looks at DJ that probably could have confused a lot of the older quarterbacks, and DJ stood up and took the punch and made a decision that was very sound, and that's the part, no turnovers. It was only one bad part where he fumbled when he was holding the ball careless, but other than that, as far as where he threw the ball, he threw it where it was supposed to be and then throw it in traffic.
Because Louisiana-Monroe is a big test for you. This past weekend they took on Florida State. And though they lost, one of the things that stood out about this team is they limited Florida State to 92 yards rushing. So what do you know and what have you seen about their defense?
Well, they got 19 or 22 starters coming back, which means they got a pretty good team and a lot of confidence from what they can do in their conference. We also know they play the top 5 team, and this certainly is going to be a game that we can't go in there expecting just somebody to lay down on. We're gonna respect them and take it like it is, but at the same time, I want our guys to understand that on any given Saturday, anything can happen. And we know ULM down the street, and we know some of the athletes that they have. And I certainly feel that we have some athletes on our football team is comparable to the guys that they have, and we just got to look at it from that standpoint.
I just asked Rick the same question a couple of seconds ago, but do you have a feel for how good this team can be yet?
Not quite, because, just like I said, watching the tape this morning, there's still some things that we got to work on because, we are taking on a whole new scheme for these guys on the football team. I mean, special offensive linemen. For the running back and the quarterback, this is all they know because this is the first system they're in. But for the other guys who've been in different systems, there's some habits and some things that they probably was doing before they can't afford to do this time. So we just got to keep working at it, and we show them what we would like for them to do, and hopefully we can get better as time goes on.
One last question, Doug, kind of 2 questions here. Give me your thoughts on Terrence Lewis, the wide receiver, special teams guy for Alcorn, and also talk to us about how fast your defense played.
Well, the kid from Alcorn hit us early, but at the end of the day, I think we did a pretty good job on them overall. When you can hold them to 0 for 10 in third down, so they didn't do us a lot of damage, and I certainly would give our defense a lot of credit for that. You know, to hold them to that type of offense, and with the talent that they have over there, our defense played fast and they made some big plays, and we missed some big plays. I mean, the last TD drive that they had, we had Brandon Bridges sacked for about a 14-yard loss, and with the magic that he has in his legs and stuff, he found a way to get out of it. So I think overall, our defense rose to the occasion for us.
It's Jason Pugh at the Times in Shreveport.
Hey, Jason.
Hey, Coach. I just want to talk to you real quick. Playing up against a Division I opponent, what are your thoughts on that? We've heard from the previous regime at Grambling every time they played up the last few years, he was whining and complaining about it. Just your thoughts on playing up against a FBS team like ULM.
I'm not going to whine and complain about it, but, you know, I'm from old school Grambling. And I'm a Eddie Robinson protege. And I know Coach well enough to know that he would not have scheduled a game with Louisiana Tech or ULM. And I feel the same way, but the game was scheduled before I got here. So my job is to coach this football team, and I'm not going to look at it from that standpoint. We just got to go out and play.
Just in general, though, your thoughts on playing up, because I know you guys played at Washington State a few years ago and places like that. Just your thoughts on playing up against FBS competition.
Well, you know, when I look at it, I think ULM played up this week, too. You know, when you look at it realistically, that's basically what it was. And we look at it as playing up, but we also look at it that the playing field is not as even as we would like, but I don't think the playing field is that tilted playing ULM. You know, I think the part that they have on us is the fact they got about 22 more scholarships than we have.
Thank you, Coach.
All right, Dave.
Coach, Ken Rashad, TSPN Sports. How are you, sir?
I'm fine. You?
Good. Coach, there were a couple of times looking back on the game last week against Alcorn State where your offense had been penalized for delay of game issues. In the game, the college game being what it is right now with offenses constantly running up-tempo style offense, what exactly is your philosophy with respect to how your offense will run during the course of this season?
Well, number one, you know, when you talk about those delays, I'm going to attribute all those to the quarterback, and he knows it. Like I say, it's the first time out the box. I'm sure he had a lot of other things on his mind and didn't really play the clock. I'm certain as time go on, he's going to manage that clock a little different. But as far as offense, it all depends on what the teams that you play or what you like. Do you want to up-tempo or you want to go to the other? I certainly wasn't going to put DJ in a position with the weather condition and trying to do an up-tempo offense on Saturday night.
Hey, Doug, it's Ty again. I got to ask you a question. It's kind of like off the subject, but I know Leroy Selman played with you. He was close to you. So can you just give us some comments about your feelings? I read somewhere where you said just there's really nothing you can say, but can you talk about your time playing with him and him as a teammate?
Yeah, I guess you're right. There's not a lot to say about Leroy because I think, you know, town of Tampa speaks for itself when you go to Tampa. But as a player, you weren't going to find a better player. And as a teammate, you weren't going to find a better human being. I've never known, you know, everybody got locker room stories about certain players. Leroy Selman might be the only guy that there is not a locker room story about because of the type of person he was. He never met a stranger, and he never was too big not to talk to you. So I think his legacy will live.